Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. It has been basically all winter. Not made any videos, really. Maybe I made one or two or three early on. But anyway, it's been busy. We ended up remodeling our master bathroom. Not something we were really looking to do, but the seal to the toilet went bad. We didn't realize it until the floor started getting a little wonky, and so we ended up just tearing everything out down to the studs and redoing that. So that's been basically the last 2 months for me. Um, and then I was kind of beginning to wonder if I was going to even start some seeds or we were going to go a different route, or even had thoughts of like, am I even going to do a garden this year, in light of all the extra things we've got going on, uh, that we didn't have last year. How's it going, James? Catch him on the live stream. I'm loving that. You are in luck. I'm going to be starting the first batch of seeds tonight, and I'm going to give you some pro tips. In fact, we will start that. So, kind of step one is to figure out what you're going to be starting, which in our case, let me show you what we got going. These are seeds I saved from last year. This is a yellow sweet pepper, Corno de Toro Giallo, I think is how you pronounce it. And this is Corno de Toro. It's like a horn pepper. They grow in the shape of a horn. This one ripens to a red. This one ripens to like a yellow green. Really cool. Then we got some spinach. I don't think I'm gonna do this one here this year. Some kohlrabi, which I have to get some of those for you guys. Let you guys see what Sammy thinks of that. Got some red cabbage. Loving that. I love cooked cabbage. Got some Siberian kale, and then I got the blue curled Scotch kale. Jen really loves these. This is a cool pepper, Buena Mulata. And it's a hot pepper. It's got a really nice spice. We're gonna grow those this year. Some jalapenos, some banana peppers. We got King of the North. It's a sweet pepper. Does well in northern climates. This is a new one, Ajvarsky. And in California Wonder. So that's what I'm starting tonight. I think maybe next go around, try to get you guys over here for the tomatoes, but the peppers usually take about 8 weeks, so I'm gonna be cutting it close. So that's the first step. Figure out what you're gonna start, and then work your way backwards. Memorial Day weekend's kind of like my big planting day for the warm weather stuff. So I've basically got all of April and all of May. I've got time to get the peppers started. The cold weather stuff will be done in about 4 to 6 weeks. So probably beginning of May, maybe second week of May, I'll be putting out all of that. And that's when like the real heavy frosts and stuff will be done. So that it'd be a good time to get those out. So once you figure out what you're going to plant, the next step is to get your grow mix ready. Now, I'll show you what I use. We'll take a little tour out to the garage. And I had about a half brick of this left over, but I got another brick here. It's called Pro Mix. And there's a place by my work that sells this stuff, and it's awesome. It's basically a soilless grow mix. It's got like phlegm moss, it's got peat moss, it's got all kinds of stuff. And it's got this mycorrhizae fungi, which I don't know if that makes a big difference. Plus, this kind of fungicide to help limit pathogens. But the idea is it's pretty much like a sterile, soilless grow mix. And kind of the why behind the what on that is that you want something that is going to give you a good chance of getting your seed started, like where there won't be like pathogens in the mix or pests that can basically take your seedling out before it gets started. Disease, going with the sterile grow mix gives your seedlings the best chance to sprout and grow, at least if you're starting in an indoor setting. So we've got the grow mix in the trays, and you can do it a couple different ways. You can get what they call a 10-20 tray, because it's 10 inches by 20 inches. 10-20 tray, and these are real nice trays. These are quad tray, about 4 times thicker than the cheapy stuff you get at the big box stores. So you can throw grow mix in that, or you can get little containers. I've had success doing that, where I just focus on the containers, and then the containers sit in there, and then whatever sprouts in here, you take it out. This year we're just doing the trays. So got my grow mix in here. Once you got the grow mix, the next step is to dampen this down. You want it to be somewhat damp so that the seeds have good contact with the grow mix, and the moisture that's in the mix once you dampen it will help soften up the seed coat. Let's see if we can get an example here. Hopefully these envelopes will open without ripping a bunch. That worked out pretty good. These are banana peppers. And if you've ever seen a pepper seed, and this is not a real good representation here, but they're pretty hard. They get a real tough seed coat on there. It's covering the actual little seed germ, or what's alive in that. There we go. But the idea is you want that to get good contact with your grow mix, so that the moisture will soften up that seed coat, and then combine with the temperature. That is the cue for the little seedling to sprout, break the seed coat, and kind of come out, right? The thing is with pepper seeds is it takes a while. I mean, I think last go around, maybe it's because I didn't have the heat mat too hot enough, but it took over a week for those things to sprout. Most seeds, 3 to 5 days, they'll sprout, but the peppers usually longer than that, depending on the conditions. You can do a couple things to address that. You can soak it. Supposedly, if you soak it in tea, that's something people do to soften the seed coats to get them to sprout. We're not going to do that. We're just going to start them in the trays. So now that I got my grow mix here, and again, this stuff is just, peat moss. It's got some like woody material in there. It's got some perlite, this white stuff that helps give it um, keep things like airy or loose, basically. It's like a filler material. That is, it simulates like soil structure a little bit, or what you would find in soil. Anyway, once you get your grow mix ready to go in the trays or pots, whatever, we're doing trays, so we want to water this stuff in because it's not real moist. I mean, the brick was hard as a rock. I broke it up best I could. I added about a gallon of water just to moisten it up a little bit, but it still needs a little bit more. So, little pro tip for you. If you're starting seeds, get you a cheesecloth or shelf liner. So this is like liners that are a liner that you would put in a cupboard or something, or shelves. And we'll turn the camera around so you can see what's going on here. But the idea is that you just drape that over your tray. And then what that allows you to do is water it in real good without washing stuff out. So I've got a little solo cup here. It's got about a 1/4 inch hole. I'm just going to put my finger over that hole. And put some water here in the cup, and then I'm just going to go over this tray. And moisten it up real good. So now that mix is nice and moist for the most part. And then what we're going to do tonight is one of my trays is going to be cold weather stuff, and the other tray is going to be my hot pepper, or my peppers, basically. I think there's 5 different things that are kind of like cold weather stuff that I've got picked out that I want to start tonight. So what I like to do is make little furrows, and you can do that with your finger. You could do that with an implement. I've got a couple different little tools. This is called a dibber, where you can make indentations, marks. It's got measurements like every inch, so you know how deep it goes. We're not going to use this tonight. We've got a little metal piece. This was actually from the greenhouse, what came with the kit to assemble it. You know, where the nuts, you can use this to kind of tighten the nuts that were on the screw, or for the screws in the greenhouse. I went ahead and kept this. It works pretty well. I've also got my homemade soil tool. This is just a cheapy tent stake where I bent the end of it out so I can scoop up seedlings and stuff. This works pretty well too. We're gonna go ahead and use this tonight. So we're gonna make 5. Actually, we'll do the peppers first, so I'm gonna do 8. I'm just gonna push this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Indentations or furrows. I think you can see the contrast there. And first one up, I guess the other thing that I did was on the front of this tray, instead of getting the little plant markers and stuff, since I'm going to be transplanting stuff anyways, I just took some painter's tape, put it across the side of the tray. And what I'm going to do, well, hey there, May's Homestead Chronicles. Thanks for dropping by. Checking out the channel here. Stick around if you want. What I'm going to do is simply with a Sharpie, just write in on the painter's tape corresponding to the furrow that I've made what's in the furrow, right? Because again, once everything sprouts, we're going to be digging this stuff out and then separating the seedlings, and that'll be another video. And I've got other videos I've made over the last couple of years that kind of go over this, but I like making them every year because sometimes things change a little bit. But the idea is we'll be looking at the root stock. We'll be looking at each seedling and kind of picking our best sprouts, basically. What we think is going to have the greatest chance for survival. So I've got some banana pepper seeds. We'll go back to our little tray here. And we'll go ahead and make this first row of the peppers. And I'm just using my, no fancy implements here. I'm just dropping seeds in. And I'm spacing them maybe just a little bit. 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch apart. Enough so that, Lord willing, if they do sprout, they've got a little bit of space between each other to grow so that they're a little easier to separate. So that's good. There's probably about 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. About 20 seeds. Yeah, about 20 seeds there. So we're going to go down the other rows with the other varieties. And again, these are going to take about, depending on the conditions, at least probably 8 weeks to get going. Maybe, hopefully not longer than that, because I really want to plant them Memorial Day weekend. But they do take a little while. So banana pepper, we got to remember to write that down. I think one year I did this and I forgot to note what I was planning. I had to go back and try to remember what that was. So we've got it notated on our tray. We're basically going to go through and do the rest of the tray. And then on the other tray, same thing. I'm going to take the little shelf liner, cover the tray, water it in real good to saturate it, make my furrows with the metal tool here, just basically making depressions where I want to plant. I live in Southwest Ohio. Loving Ohio. I used to live in Northwest Indiana, and I found it's a little bit more difficult to grow things here. The weather And maybe it's just the weather patterns change. Maybe it's because we're closer to the Ohio River Valley, and it's just a different dynamic. But it seems like the springs are, there's not much of a spring. And really, if I wanted to grow anything in the springtime, early spring anyway, I would need like protection, like a hoop house, or I would need to like to cover everything because it gets cold. I think last May it was like, I got a video I made where I was still in a winter coat, and it was like second week of May or something crazy. Yeah, well, it's not quite daytime right now. It's like what, 9 o'clock now, 9:30. I don't know. I've been tooling around down here for a little while. What about you? Where are you from? I maybe you're not in the United States. We'll turn this around here because what we're going to do is cover our furrow. We'll lower this real quick. Oh, Texas. Okay. I like Texas. I've got a cousin that lives down in Texas. You guys had some pretty brutal, was it like last month or something when you guys, all that freezing down there and the houses weren't built for withstand that, and you had a bunch of frozen pipes and stuff? Oh, working. Okay. Well, that's cool. So you're at work now watching videos? That's hilarious. Let's see here. So I'm going to cover these real quick. Basically, what I'm doing, I'm just pinching in the grow mix from the sides of my furrows, or the side of the furrow, just enough to cover the seed. You don't want too much on there because if there's too much grow mix on there, the seeds won't sprout. They'll be too deep. So generally the rule of thumb is that however big the seed is, that's about how deep you want to plant it. So but a lot of these, it's going to be like 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch at most. But 1/8 of an inch, just a light cover. In fact, you can use sand, like play sand, to cover the seeds and then water them in, and then that helps make sure they're in a real good environment so that the seed coat can will break down. So we've got our first pepper planted. The next one up, we'll do some jalapenos. Last couple years, and I don't know, but the jalapenos haven't been like very hot. They've been more like just a regular plain pepper, and I'm not sure what all influences the heat, if they cross-pollinate. What the deal is. But we'll go ahead and do the jalapenos next. So there's our jalapeno seed. We'll drop it here in the second furrow. I'm about to come back on this one because I dropped two on top of each other. Again, we're going to do about, I don't know, 20. Leaving a little space between the seeds there. See if that works out. And the rest of them we will put back in our packet. We'll see how that goes. Getting with our Sharpie, we'll just mark the tray real quick and just put jalapeno. Abbreviate and just put JALA. That's enough for me to know what it is. And we're gonna again just bring the grow mix down from the sides of the furrow that I created. And again, we'll kind of make sure everything's covered. Tamp it down there. The thing is you want to make sure that the seeds are covered. Some seeds won't sprout unless like conditions are met, like where it's dark, it's moist, and it's warm. Some of them won't sprout unless they've gone through a cold snap. So like some varieties you need to put like in the freezer or refrigerator so that they go through a cycle like that, so that they'll sprout the next go around. I'm trying to think which vegetables there are. I think there's a couple of apple trees, like seeds from that are like that. But the main thing is you need, at this point, temperature and moisture are the two main things you need to get the seed coat to break down. Yeah, it's not my first rodeo. I've been kind of experimenting and toying around for, I don't know, last 7 or 8 years. There's people that are further ahead, and there's probably more efficient ways of starting seeds. These are just little tricks that I've learned along the way that seem to work for me, and the idea is it's fairly forgiving. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do wrong. You can cook your seeds. That's one thing we're going to try to avoid doing. More peppers. Try not to cook. I did that one summer. I was like, oh, it's nice out. I'll start some seeds outside. So I put it in like, yeah, soil blocks. I almost bought the blocker to make the soil blocks this year. I thought about doing that, and I still could. I really could. These are called AJ Varsky. I know. It says it's an amazingly fragrant Macedonian roasting pepper. Oh yeah? You can do it without a soil blocker? I guess hypothetically if you had like some kind of form, and I've seen some people, they do soil balls. Instead of making a block, they'll just grab a fistful and and make their blocks that way. How do you go about doing them? I'll have to check it out. You get a video. I tell you what, I paid $3 for this, and I got 15 seeds. There's some varieties. I think one year I paid $5 and got maybe 10 seeds. Yeah, if you want to share the video, I'll take a look. You can post in the comments, and then like tomorrow, whatever. The other thing I thought about doing, yeah, I guess it's not too bad for like the variety, and you think about the time invested to grow them and stuff. I mean, I get it. They can't just sell it for like 25 cents or something like that. But with that being said, probably one pepper, you could get probably 50 seeds from it, right? So we're going to start all of these. Kind of see how this turns out. Hopefully they sprout. Though I will say Baker Creek's pretty good. One time I got a pack of seeds that were duds, like they didn't sprout. And I sent them an email, and they sent me a replacement packet plus like another like free. They typically give away free stuff. It's probably like their their inventory that's not moving very fast or whatever, which is, I mean, it's still okay. We'll call this pepper AJ. AJ. You know what you should do is just leave a comment on one of my other videos. You could share the link that way. If not on the live stream here. Next one we'll do is King of the North. Yeah, it only took me like 8 years. 7 years, whatever it was. Last year seemed like it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, I got 1,000. Maybe it was last year. No, it was 2 years ago. And then last year, I finally got to the level where I can monetize the videos again, like actually be part of their program. I mean, they were still running commercials on my videos anyway. I just wasn't getting paid for it, right? And I'm still not getting paid very much. I think I made like 118 bucks. Maybe 200 bucks so far this year. Which is cool. I mean, that's, I joke around, that's pizza money, right? It's better than nothing. We'll put some of these down. This King of the North. King of the North it's a really nice variety. Yeah, it's some extra cash. And I had to, they've changed the program a little bit where in order to get paid, yeah, hey, you'll have to drop by again. I'll try to get back to making some more videos. Have fun at work tonight. Hopefully it goes pretty quick. What do I go by? That's a good question. The friends on the channel, they just call me Oh How Happy. I try to keep it positive, keep the content clean, family friendly. There's people out there that don't do that. Ohio Happy. Well, hey, it's been fun. I'm glad you were able to pop in and hang out with me a little bit. Like I said, it's been a little while since I've been on YouTube. Just a lot going on. It's kind of one of those things that you just other priorities. There's other things happening. We'll see if we can get the peppers done tonight. Let's do some Buena Mulatas. Weren't much in that packet either, and those are $4. Let's go ahead and zoom in on what I'm doing here. That looks pretty good. We'll see if we got any California Wonder left over. And these were actually from, yeah, these are this year. Do a different angle. I always start way more seeds than what I need. And part of it is I give quite a bit away. We got 2 more peppers to go. We got our Corno de Toro and our Corno de Toro Giallo. This Corno de Toro Giallo is a pretty neat one this past year. All right, so the peppers are done. I don't know if you can see that. I've got everything labeled, so we got banana peppers, got our jalapenos, the Edge Jarvarsky, King of the North, Buena Mulata, California Wonder, Corno de Toro Giallo. We got to we're going to go through and cover these, by pinching that. Then we're going to saturate the tray again, and then we're going to cover it with a lid. And then we're going to do our cold weather stuff in this tray. Same process. Make our, dampen this down with the shelf liner. This thing, pouring water all over the tray. Going to make our furrows with the tool. Drop our seeds in. Pinch the sides of the furrow over it, not to where it's covering it deeply, but to where everything's just covered. Moisten it again, cover it. We'll put the probe, we'll turn the mat on, and we'll set the temp at probably 80 degrees and see what happens. Now the concern is that we're trying to start peppers and the cold weather stuff, the stuff that tolerates like colder temperatures. I'm probably gonna have to get things hotter for the peppers to come up compared to the other ones, and I don't want to stress the other ones out, so I'm gonna have to watch that. I may end up putting them over the under the other set of grow lights I have to mitigate that. But we'll see. Again, it'll probably be about a week for the peppers to sprout, depending, and 3 to 5 days for my other stuff. We'll let that go, and then maybe this weekend pot up some sprouts, pick the best ones, pot them up, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then go ahead and jump off of here. Hopefully I'll have some future videos, live streams for you guys, for anyone who's interested out there. But I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.